Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ Dhammaṃ Sanghaṃ Namasami. I came back from Japan early November, and now it's already 1 month plus 2 weeks, something like this have passed. The sense of time is always somehow not exactly we count days and weeks. It feels like a long time ago. That's how I feel. And just before, when I came to know, probably I need to offer some reflection tonight. And I look at my notebook. I made just one line of note when I arrived back to Amaravati in early November. It was about the impression of this place. What I used the word was silence. So when I came back to be in a community, in a sangha, or particularly in a temple like this, the experience of silence was quite strong. The word I put in my notebook was powerful and special. Where I spent Wasa in Japan, it was in a countryside, and also I was supported by Japanese, very kind and sincere, faithful people. So I couldn't find anything to complain. But still, when I came back here, a very clear sense of contrast when I arrived here, surrounded by the monastics in this very safe environment. And surrounded by the monastics means the just appearance of people in robes. And to be in a temple like this, and particularly when we sit together in meditation, this hall has its own quite strong presence. That's how I feel. But when we sit together, practice meditation together, then it's the silence is not, we may say it empty silence, but we are here, people are sitting, and so in silence together, or in this present moment, here and now together, that experience was, as I wrote in a notebook, special and powerful. And also, today we missed the chance to listen to Lumpo Smedo's talk. He would give us a Dhamma reflection every week, and when I joined and listening to his talk in the afternoon, that was also very, very special opportunity. He talks about always just the most important, what we would call essence, and to listen to together in this Dhamma hall, in this temple, was a priceless experience. I remember quite some years ago when Lumpo was still the abbot here. And he was younger, stronger physically. And one of the one of the strongest moment we could have was when he gave a reflection in the morning. If you are here, then you remember when we had a week-long or 2 weeks group practice. Every morning at 5, he would sit here. And actually, not this Dhamma seat, that different one. If you go to a conservatory of Arokakuti, where Lumpo sits, and when he received a guest there. So that is the Dhamma seat we used to use, and he would sit here at 5. So 5 o'clock was just like now, it's a time for morning meditation, sitting meditation. And so it's not like a usual Dhamma talk. The light was quite dimmed, just like when we sit for sitting meditation. And everybody was simply meditating, and Lumpo would sit here. Sometimes he didn't start after 5 minutes, sometimes straight from the beginning. And it is really, it's not like he was talking to us or addressing to the assembly as usual, as in the usual Dhamma talk, but how can I say, he was simply relating what is then, here and now. He was simply saying what is there. Probably this is not precise enough. So sometimes he quietly continues. Sometimes he would have a pause for easily a few minutes, even longer. But we are also not like listening to somebody's talk, but we are sitting in meditation. So my experience then was like the whole temple became a place of, in my word, the place of truth or reality or whatever you would like to call. So it's not like individually sitting, listening or meditating, and then Lumpo was, or someone was talking to us, but just everybody was meditating, sitting, and then Lumpo was just expressing what is there. So when he was stronger, physically stronger, younger, there are different styles of teaching. Like this morning reflection was, to me, the most powerful way he shared us. He did the usual evening talks or Sunday talks during the Vasa, or he led the retreat and the retreat center, all somehow different style because of the setting. But this morning one was really the whole, this temple and the people, Lumpo, we were together, but it's my experience was like that the whole place became a place of truth or Dhamma or reality. But that is symbolically, even symbolically, to me, the very strongest experience. But even now, the similar kind of silence, to experience silence, when I came back here, so that was tangible. But I also knew after some time I might lose it, just being, let's say, too busy, engaged in this and that, or everything becomes kind of routine now, so that my perception would become dull. I knew it would come, so that's why I intentionally made a note. And it is true, when we live here together like this every day, same kind of routine and let's say same faces, so even we start to feel boredom. But once we refresh our perception by changing a place or just stepping away slightly, then this place is special. And I repeat about it was powerful to me. And that made me reflect on the nature of this place, the monastery, where the ordained people living together for the Dhamma. And just before I left Japan, coming back here, I had quite a unique opportunity ceremony to attend. It was only few days before I left Japan for Amaravati. It was, in English, the ceremony of abbatial succession. So the change of the abbot of the monastery, Buddhist monastery there. And here, the abbatial succession, it is now a bit active agenda, interesting agenda in our community, like a Elders Council meeting, they start discuss the change of leadership. And the ceremony I attended was at, it is in Japan, so the Buddhism is there, the Mahayana Buddhism, and the monastery was built in 1400 something, so in 15th century. And the new abbot will be their 33rd abbot. So it has a history. And the new abbot, or the abbot to be, is a friend of mine. He came to Amaravati, that's how I came to know him. I need to explain a little bit the background. In Japan, most of the temples, Buddhist temples, are, you can say, by now, family-run temples. Or for us, it's a bit funny to say family-run, or it has a family lineage. This is because about 150 years ago, Japan opened the country and they start to choose the way to become more westernized, and the government encouraged, or even they made a law, or maybe I'm not sure, but at least government encouraged the Buddhist monks to have a family life. I mean, to marry and have a family. So it is a quite unusually difficult thing for the monks to accept then, I believe, but slowly, gradually, it became normal thing accepted in a society. So most of the Buddhist temples in Japan now it run by the family. It means you're born to the Buddhist temple, and when you grow up, and when your father becomes older, you succeed. That is a common way to maintain the lineage. So my friend, he was born in the one of the Buddhist temple there. It is a big one because it has even fewer sub-temples. So it's a big one. And he was born, so he is used to how the monastery or temple functions. But because he had a brother, he thought he didn't have to become an abbot there. But his brother couldn't succeed. Maybe, my memory is not clear, but maybe his brother died. So suddenly, my friend realized that he should become the abbot soon. And the question came up to him, what is it to be the abbot of the monastery or to be the abbot of the temple? So he was born there, he grew up there, so he should know what it is like. So there are many, many rituals. It is different from here, but in Japan, one of the important functions of the Buddhist temples is to conduct many rituals, particularly funerals and related to funerals and related memorial services, and other functions, particularly to serve local community. So he would understand what it is like to be the abbot or in charge of the temple. But he wasn't sure. His question was, in fact, what it is to be a Buddhist monk, and why the Buddhist monastery can exist. Although I said that this is the Buddhist temple in Japan is family run, but it is also financially run by donation. In Japanese, we say fuse, which means dana. So it is based on generosity. So for him, this is also became a question. Yes, if you work and you get a salary, this is no question. But live on a dana, live on a donation or generosity. What is it? Am I safe to be so? So many things he knew, but once he realized he is going to be the abbot in charge, many things became questions. And because he is fluent in few foreign languages, so he started traveling a little bit around the world, and eventually he came to Thailand, or eventually one time he came to Thailand and visited Wat Pananachar. And his experience at Wat Pananachar, right now that Anjita Samaro is there to spend 1 year, sister Yana Siddhi also staying nearby the monastery. So he went there, stayed there, I don't think it's a long time, but a few weeks, something like this. And it it helped him. What my friend told me, I don't remember exactly, maybe this is my way of interpreting it, but what he saw there, what he experienced there at Wat Panacha, I have to say, my own experience when I went there as a layman almost 40 years ago, that is sort of coloring my understanding. But for him to see how the Sangha, the monastery, and the lay supporters are living there and practicing there, help him to understand the life of Buddhist monk. He now become confident to be the abbot. What did he experience there? Should be one of the things. It should be the villagers so faithful, so devoted. If you go there, you see Thailand is a Buddhist country, everybody knows, but particularly Northeast Thailand. It's a homeland of Thai forest tradition, and the villagers there, they are compared to people living in a city, leading a more simple life, but for their sense of devotion and faith in Buddhism and Buddhist monastics, this is very clear, strong. So to be there, for instance, the monks going to Vrindavat every morning, going through the villages, just soon around the dawn time, the villagers are waiting along the road or nearby the entrance of the village or inside the village. And every Saturday they come to the temple and monastery and many of them take 8 precepts. And following Ajahn Chah's tradition, the monastery, if the monastery has not just a midnight vigil, but even the whole night sitting, and sometimes they sit more firm than the monks would do. So how they are, I hope I can describe better, but you don't have to think, but once we see how the villagers are, we see what is faith, what is dana, what is the joy there. We just feel it, we just know it. And also, this is my guess too, my friend when he stayed at Wat Panacha to see the monks, particularly the Westerners or the foreigners, non-Thais, wearing this robe. Very simple lifestyle. And when this form, you can say, the oldest form of Buddhism, almost like similar to the way the Buddha himself lived. So when you see that simple form, for him, just for my friend, he was born in a Buddhist temple, so maybe many things were very familiar to him, but when he came to Wat Panachart in Northeast Thailand to see the essence of Buddhism, if you like, or the most, the core, basic, fundamental part of Buddhism, simple, not complicated, but this is what the Buddhism, this is what the monastics are, this is how Buddhist community is. I think having seen this, his understanding of Buddhism became refreshed, and for him to be in charge of Buddhist temple in Japan became possible. More confidence arose. So he really, even now, he values the connection with the Theravada tradition. He values the connection with Ajahn Chah's lineage. So later on, when he came to Europe and visit Amaravati, we got connected. And when I go back to Japan very often, and I also visit his temple, and I would offer some teachings. And now his father, nearly 70, I think, he time to retire or resign. So they're going to have a abbatial succession, a big ceremony. I was invited, and I was invited to offer Dhamma talk. It's a quite honored occasion. And also I was very pleased to support him in occasion of his important transition. And the ceremony itself, for me to attend the ceremony, because I am often involved in various ceremonies or functions, so I could see how they organize the ceremony, particularly in the symbolical area. There are many things I found interesting, but just one important part. When they had a ceremony of abbatial succession, from the old abbot to new abbot, main part is, well, there are many rituals and then many parts, but to me, three are important to have this ceremony in an authentic way. Number one is the letter from the main temple. The temple belongs to Pure Land School, and so the letter to approve or appoint new abbot. So the letter from the main temple or headquarters, if you like, is one thing, to authorize new abbot. And number two, from the old abbot, his father in this case, from old abbot to new abbot, presenting the robe. I was explained traditionally or originally the robe is from the founder of this Pure Land school, and then to the second, the third, the actual robe was passed on, but of course the robe became old and it became impossible, so they may have had a new kind of robe. But anyway, symbolically from old abbot or current abbot to new abbot, the pass on the robe was one significant moment. And then third one was to, again from the old abbot to new abbot, the record of the monastery or temple, which has history, but also all the record of funerals they had. This is quite different from us, but it means you receive the history, and also you really understand, you become in charge of this local community. But to me, particularly the second one, when they the offering, passing the robe from old abbot to new abbot. Because my memory came back. Memory of our case when Rinpoche Medo retired and then Achamaro became the abbot, leader of this monastery. Probably here only few people were there. It was 2010 November, and the formal ceremony was held here only by the Sangha, and no picture was taken, to say nothing of video. So even those who attended the ceremony might not remember. So just I'd like to share how we did. Because yes, Theravada tradition is very old, 2,500 years old, but in terms of lineage, once come to Thai forest tradition, even to come to Ajahn Chah's lineage, it's not that old. So for us to have a abbatial succession is totally new. How can we really relate to this significant change of our teacher, of our leader? So we gathered here, that was in November, and before we started to have a proper ceremony, Rinpoche made a particular request. It is about Ajahn Chah's shrine. The Ajahn Chah's statue was already there, shrine was made, but Rinpoche knew we never had the proper ceremony for Ajahn Chah's shrine. So before Rinpoche departs, he wished to have ceremony for Ajahn Chah's shrine. So we gathered just in front of the Ajahn Chah's shrine, and we chanted Vipassana Bhumi. So Vipassana Bhumi, we were told this is Rinpoche's favorite chanting. So when he was in his vegetative state, when we offered chantings, but we never missed the Vipassana Bhumi, because we are told this is his very favorite chant. So for this occasion too, we sat around and offered Vipassana Bhumi. And after that, we moved to the main part of the temple, and we invited Rinpoche and Achamaro to sit at the front, side by side. And as we do always, we asked for forgiveness. And we poured the water to the hands, both Ajahns. We made sure the water was warm. November is cold, so we made the water warm enough. So, and how to do transition in a not symbolical way, the way we feel connected. So what we designed is, we also prepared a set of robe. And the And the set of robe was brought to everybody one by one, and everybody touched the robes, just like in Thailand. We do not do this often, but I notice Sri Lankans, when they offer something to be connected, they touch the item and then hand in anjali, something like this, when you make offering. So the same way, when this robe was passed on, every single of us just touched and then hand in anjali, so that we felt connected, and it passed on to the most junior person. And I think Ajahn Wajiro, he was the second among them, so Ajahn Wajiro offered this to Lumpur Sumedho. So because we did this one by one, this robe was really representing all of us. Every Sangha member's heart is there. This is from us. This is what we are for, something like this. And then Ajahn Wajiro, representing the Sangha members, offer it to Lumpur Sumedho. And then Lumpur Sumedho received it and handed it to Ajahn Amaro. So in that way, so that transmission of the leadership shown, symbolized in a robe, but also everybody is connected and is now from Lumpur, previous abbot or current abbot, to the new coming abbot leader, Ajahn Amaro. And when we finished it, and then I think even the same day after that, Lumpur went to Heathrow and left this country. And then following morning, Ajahn Amaro moved into that kuti. And also I think when we poured the water to two ajahns, we chanted Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. As all of us know, Lumpur always referred to Four Noble Truths. And the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the theme is Four Noble Truths. So to recite the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, when we pour the water, the hands of two ajahns, we thought this is the most appropriate. So we just chanted again and again Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. So this is the way we managed to do transmission of our leadership. When Lumpur, after received the robe, he offered it to Ajahn Amaro. He said, "This is not my size, so I give it to you." This is really Lumpur Sumedho. Even this is most serious moment. So we liked it. But just I wanted to share this because nothing is filmed or nothing is photoed, and it's only Sangha only meet event, and even it started disappearing from my memory. So I thought it's for this occasion I wanted to share. And very interesting enough, so the abbatial succession, the ceremony of abbatial succession in Japan too, the robe played a significant role. So when we have ordination ceremonies, always we receive the bowl and the robe from the sponsors or parents or whoever, and we offer bowl and robes to our preceptor. And also in our ordination procedure, candidates are questioned if we are qualified. And one of the questions is actually bowl and robes are ready or not. So although particularly in this monastery, we have so many responsibilities, so many things to take care, so many things to think about. But the central part of our life is really there, bowl and robes. We should not forget this. And when I was invited to offer a Dhamma talk, the theme I shared was, I talked about the word bhikkhu, just a Pali word for the monk. And so the bhikkhu, the word itself originally from what it meant was the one who begs. So this is really what says is about the mendicant. When just now the lay committee took 8 precepts. The 5 precepts is a precept of morality. It's very clear. 8 precepts. I would call it the precept of renunciation. Eating in the afternoon. Is it against the moral? No, of course, fine. But it is meant to make our life more simple and more towards renunciation. So that you can say precept kept in the monastery. But now, when it comes to the 10th precept, actually only 1 precept is different because the 7th precept of the 8th precept divided into 2, as you know. So only the 10th precept is new to when we take 10th precept, giving up the money, control of the money. And this is the significant change our relation to the world. When we have money, it means we can choose. Of course, sometimes we don't have money. If you go that channel, it's a totally different story. But at least when you have money, even to go to London, you don't have to worry too much as far as you have money or the credit card. But as a monks, we know we really are vulnerable. So to have money is almost like we can choose, we can control. But once we give up this by taking 10th precept is, in a sense, we surrender or we trust in goodness and generosity of people, of other human beings. So it can be scary, even frightening experience, but as all of us know, we are so well supported. But the 10th precept is what makes us a samana, mendicant. So that's why when we take 10th precept, when we have a pabbacca going forth, we'll have a bowl. This is for begging. And then robe. This robe is, you can't find something similar in the world. This is very, if I use a strong word, strange thing in the world. It doesn't match. You can't find the same thing in the world. But it meant to be so, because this is a form to show we are mendicant. It is a form to show our relation to the world is different. So, so in that sense, for this reason, for our ordination ceremony, bowls and then robes are significant. And even this abbatial succession, bowl didn't come out, but the robes are held in a central piece. And also when I talked about the word bhikkhu, since my early training, I was taught, reminded again and again the meaning of bhikkhu is the one who see the danger of samsara. The one who see the danger of samsara. When we reflect on this word, it is not about, really it's not about monks or nuns or ordained. It is about everybody. It is about whoever practices. That's why when we see in a chanting sutta, because of the historical situation when Buddha taught certain teachings, Buddha addressed to the monks, that's why word bhikkhus appears. But we don't have to read in a way, oh, this is only for the monks, nothing to do with me. No, because the one who sees danger in samsara, so this is the essence, the meaning, what practice means, what we are learning. So in that sense, in that meaning, it is to do with everybody. And when I gave a talk at this abbatial succession ceremony, I also wanted to say this, to see the danger of the samsara, particularly because I have to say the situation of the world now. After I came back to Amaravati, my contact with the news in the media is much less. So somehow I feel more peaceful. But when I was in Japan, actually November was a very intense time. So many strong news, one after another. This part of the world is even worse, I would imagine. But even Japan, heavy news, one after another. So of course, it's not only about the immediate serious situation of the world, but the world has so many difficulties, challenges, conflict, problems, and so forth. That was quite strong in me. And when I thought of my friend going to be the abbot in charge of the temple, what can I share? What do I want to say? So I have to think again, what is the temple? What is the monastery? So it is very simple thing, a simple term, but the word peace became clear to me. When I go to in Japan, I often go to, it's not as like a visiting, but just go to the temples to feel peace or silence, So even the busy lifestyle of modern society, modern life, just the presence of temple like this, I strongly recognize, particularly in a situation of the world like this, this is what we really need. This is what we really should not forget. We need to remember, we need to come back, we need to recognize. So that was quite strong in me. So that made me to choose the theme to see the danger of the samsara. If, of course, in the samsara, how do we understand? How do we interpret the word or concept samsara? Okay, the cycle of or perpetual cycle of birth and death. But also you can say just a continuation of suffering again and again, or making mistakes again and again, intentionally, unknowingly. It's just a strong feeling. I felt them. And when I say this danger of samsara or samsara, yes, what I said now is more like a situation in the world. The strong exploit the weak, or winner and loser, rich and poor. But also we know even between when there's a war, when there's a conflict, we will say somebody somehow win, and then the other side there's a loser. But we also know this is not the end. The story continues. The suffering repeats itself, even in a more painful way, more disturbing way. We all know, and yet we repeat again and again. But are we really in a hopeless situation? So when I say, quote this, to see the danger in the samsara, also it comes to each individual. We have a habitual pattern of thinking, or how to react, not respond, but react to our feelings, to situations, to ourselves, to others. We repeat again and again. And maybe we suffer, repeat the same stories. So when I say samsara, I also think of each individual, about the personality, about the psychological, emotional challenges too. And even to come to our practice. We sat together in meditation. This is really center of our life, if you like. We come here to practice, we come here to meditate, but it is, how do we see the samsara? How do we see the practice? Do we practice in the place of to see the danger of the samsara? What I mean is, if it's a meditation, if it's a practice to something to make, something to add, something to fight for, is it really practice? Is it really someone who sees the danger in a samsara, or just, although we say meditation, although we say Buddhist practice, but we simply struggling in the world of samsara, how much we can do better or less, more, when, what. So it is quite strong conditioning, at least in me. So when we say patience, we often unknowingly lost in a way of practicing or thinking or living in a world of samsara. And then just to remember, like from the beginning I said, this is the peace or silence, or if you like, a freedom. This the away from samsara. So are we really practicing, seeing our practice, seeing our way? What is it in relation to samsara? It's not like we have to find an answer or we have to do this or that, but to like for me, when I just remember this word to see the danger of the samsara, it has a layers of meaning, if you like. As I said, we can think of the world, we can think of personal matters, but also the practice. Just to bring up this word to see the danger of the world, to see the danger of samsara. Where am I? What am I doing? Am I possibly lost in a samsara without knowing it? So like a good example is like even in the middle of the busiest day, Ajahn Nyanarato often reminds us the purpose of life here is end of suffering, end of dukkha, or not to suffer. Even when we have a busy, big event like a katina, but he would remind us. Or, like recently, the theme of Dhamma reflection, Lumpo, Ajahn Nyanarato followed is about the nature of time, timelessness, akariko. We are so time-bound. How much do we do? How much do we not do? When? What next? Both, but even it comes to practice. If we think of our practice lost in a samsaric way of thinking, what is next? How much we have to do? So once we born in this realm of time, then we almost carry the time, the weight of samsara. Of course, then practice is something unreachable, too heavy, so difficult. Because we carry the time, we create the time, and we believe this is the case, and we carry. So meditation or practice become a burden. We say we strive, we endeavor, but if we carry the whole weight of samsara, nobody can survive, of course. But Lumpo, when he talked about the akariko, timeless, Ajahn Nyanarato followed timeless. Or Ajahn Nyanarato often loved to quote Rinpoche's word, the monks does not have a future. In the normal sense, it's a very funny or even frightening word, no future. But future is also creation. Just like a time-bound way of thinking, we create in the future. But all we create, even in the practice, even we think of our practice meditation, how often we say, I don't reach anywhere. When can I? How many years do we have to? I have done this. So and interesting enough, what next? How long do we have to? These words. And if we ask ourselves in a very honest way, it's very true. We believe and we work hard, but somehow we also know this is very hard work. But is it really the one who sees the danger in a samsara? Instead, we simply believe the samsara. In this sense, in this aspect, what I want to say is the samsara is expressed in time-bound perception. So I'm extending today's theme with a certain way. So now I come back to the word, seeing the danger in samsara. Yes, from the world situation to personal, psychological, emotional, interpersonal challenges to our what we call practice. The once we understand once we recognize this danger of samsara, it's difficult to stop. Okay, okay, I jump to conclusion. Today, at the beginning, I said peace or silence is quite striking to me. What we notice, what we appreciate is the presence of silence, the peace. And it is not something we make. It is not something we strive for. This is very simple, and it is not some I have to explain. I believe everybody can understand this. Everybody can feel this peace, this silence. It's not we are making. It's not we are striving for. But this is almost like a symbolically how we understand our relation to samsara. Either it would be our personal tendency, like when we sit in meditation, maybe we have many thoughts, emotions come up, present one, but also challenging one, different ones. But this is simply what's happening. Probably the word, not samsara, sankhara is better. Just arising, passing, and in a context of simply silence. But because we believe so much in thoughts, what's happening, this is a problem, I want to make it, I have to remove it, I have to do this, I have to reach, and so forth. So we lost in the world of samsara, and then sankhara is overwhelming us. But once just simply recognizing how this silence is, the monastery or temple, why we need it, why we value so much, it is simply clear. As when I came back from Japan to see the fellow monks and nuns, fellow samanas, this love, this love is really telling me totally different relation to the world of samsara and the temple. There's a silence. It's not about we have to do something forcefully, but also it's not about the denying or dismissing. We work, we do our best to work with our conditions. This is our responsibility. I'm not saying to dismiss or to reject, but if we don't have any perspective around it, then to living in a world of samsara is just simply burden, suffocating, just like a thing after another without any space around. But we also know the peace and the silence is available. And our life, our form, and then the monastery is for it. I should stop now. So thank you very much for listening. What I wanted to say is, what we wanted to share is, although living here every day, we can become lost in all the details. But it was very strong when I came back from Japan to see what is this place. Very unusual, very special, very powerful it was. And then it is, really I can use the word priceless. So we shouldn't forget this. We shouldn't be lost. I stop here. Thank you very much.